Hello, and welcome to the continuing adventure of an old noob here on the Daybound server. Yes, my voice does sound a little bit different today. That's because I have a seasonal cold. What's Christmas without feeling a little ill? I hope it doesn't distract you too much from the content. Last episode, we made that bamboo farm just there, and we dug further down into the ancient entrance.
I'm going to need a lot of bamboo. 2 stacks of potential bamboo. And then they should be in here. Look at that. Perfect. If it turns out it's not enough, I can always make it bigger. And we've started to uncover some lush caves, which I think really adds to the vibe of what I'm going for here.
This episode, I'm going to continue with the bamboo theme because if you remember, I require scaffolding and bamboo is only one part of that. The other part is string. So here we are back on the industrial district and I'm going to make Gnembons on cold, Gnembons Mob Farm. I could do some farm. It's an oldie, but a goodie. So I'm going to build that here in the center of the island because, symmetry. And I think it would be good to have it in the center. So Gnembon tells us that it's best to do it at sea level. Well, I'm going to do it here so it's higher up in the sky. That makes mine bigger because that's how that works. So first of all, we need to put in 5x5 of the hoppers as the catchment place. So I reckon there. And now from the middle, we pillar up 30. And now we do a temporary 5x5 so as we go over the hoppers. And now we have to build a diamond shape going out 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then put 3 on the end. And do that off of each side. And now the joy of joining them up. And with that complete, we now have to step up one more, which is there. And go out 3, I think. And then we have to frame it all the way around. And now we put one more frame around it. And that's just another step up. Water mechanics have changed since Gnembon's tutorial. He said you had to ring this around with temporary blocks and then you put the water source on the slab. However, slabs now waterlog and the water just goes straight through them. So I've devised a way to do it, but you have to be very, very careful. It starts off by ringing them around like in his, but too high. Let's get rid of these ones. When dropping the water, don't drop them on the slab, or else it'll get waterlogged and all the water will go straight down there. We want them to come across here, so we have to do it on the temporary block. And now with that all filled in, here comes the fun part. You know when someone says that, it's not going to be fun. What we have to do is get rid of all the top ones and then the ones underneath. Because if we get rid of both, the water's just going to go that way. But if we get rid of one, then the bottom one, then the water should stay there. Here we go. So far, so good. And now, if we get rid of these ones, this water shouldn't update. It should continue to only go that way. Oh, here goes nothing. Yes. It worked. I mean, yes, of course that works because I know exactly what I'm doing. Right, so now we have to place dispensers facing upwards. And we do this alternating between 2 temporary blocks, then place dispenser. 1, 2, and a dispenser. And then finish off with a dropper. And now we drop down into the water. Fingers crossed it doesn't hurt. And we pillar up once again, but this time putting an observer under each one. And now for the spawning platforms, there's going to be one for each dropper. So each one of these is going to be 7 out. Now, the reason it's 7 is water flows in 8 from source. So that'll be the source. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it won't drop off the edge. It flows out in a diamond shape. So for maximum waterage, this needs to be a diamond as well. And now we just need to do this platform for each one of these. And now we've reached the very top. We do a great big roof over the whole thing to make sure that all the platforms are at 0 light, which is very important since now mobs will only spawn at 0. But to make sure that no mobs spawn on this top one, we do them on lower slabs. All these are top facing slabs, which means mobs will spawn, but they won't spawn on a lower slab. So we do the same of going out 7. But then we go out another 14. And we do this on all points of the compass and then fill it in. And with the roof all done, we now have to power this thing with a redstone clock. Gnembon does say to use 4 blocks here, and he obviously knows what he's talking about. What I'm going to do is slabs it away and see if it works. And now we stick the repeaters going this way, and then a dab of redstone there and there. And then repeaters this way. And a comparator on subtract. And then I think we need like that. Oh no, that is working. That's a clock. Okay. And now each one of these has got to be on full delay. And then power it on. Dispenses. Yes, and turns off. Nice. Okay, so we don't need that on for now. Gnembon knows what he's doing. So now we get rid of the temporary blocks. And this is a good time. Put in the water for the dispensers. And fill the gaps that we're making. And now we need to open this gap and put in some signs. Now we've placed the signs. So the signs allow the water to overhang, which helps with spiders, apparently. The fact that I've got rid of half my torches down there is a bit worrying, though. And now we get rid of all this. And that sorted out the lava problem. Now, the last thing to do is put this in a state where it's always flooded. Gnembons says you have to do this by quickly replacing this. Let's see how quickly I can replace it in survival. Not very. I think what we'll have to do is take that out. Temporary block. Put it facing over the temporary block. Now, if I take that off, turns all the water off, then put that back on. Yes. Let's stick that back there on all those sticks. That's it. It should now all be water on all the platforms. Yes. A thing of beauty. Now we just need to make a way up to the perfect AFK spot. Thanks for the rain. So those hoppers there are at Y88. So the optimal place for me to sit is Y195. And we're going to get there via a ladder. And now we get to it via unspawnable blocks. We need to be in the middle of the contraption. Let's make it phantom proof. Yeah, totally not scary being all the way up here in the clouds. Now I've just got to stick a ladder on it for all those times that I don't have an elytra. Okay, we're just about done now. The AFK spot is all the way up in the air. Now, one of the things that does happen with this here mob farm is some of the mobs come with armor and they're a wee bit strong, or they're attached to a spider. And when they land, they don't take as much damage and they just walk away. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that they burn to death. We could do this by dropping on some campfires. Now, these campfires are fueled by soul sand, which means they burn a lot hotter. But just in case they survive that, I am going to cordon it all off. And now, test it. So let's flick the switch and have a look at how it does. Oh, yes. There they are spawning. Oh, yes. Instant death. And now I just need all that death. Now I just need a way to get to that hopper. Oh, look at that already. Oh, that's the important one. And then we've got some bones for bone meal, and we've got some gunpowder so I can make my own rockets. Think I'm going to need to sort out a bit of storage for this thing. Yeah, that'll do. Well, here we are, a couple of weeks later, and as you can tell, my voice is a lot better. And you can also see that the mob farm is also working really well. And I don't think my joke storage idea of just one little tiny chest is going to be enough. So while I had a couple of weeks off, I built this, a proper storage for it. An ImpulseSV proper storage. All the items that thing up there produces are filtered out into these chests. We've got string, gunpowder, bones, arrows, rotten flesh, and then a few empty ones, because more than just that is produced by this thing. Around the back, I'll show you what I mean. The items are coming down from the mob farm and they're entering this hopper line here that takes all the items along. Any item that fits into the filter system gets put into those chests. Now, this filter system works by the comparator measuring how many items are here. So I've got string coming into this one, and it's filtered off by these filter blocks. Filter blocks aren't going to come in here, so they won't change. Now, as you can see, it's 41,
2, 3, 4, 5, which the comparator kicks out as 2 redstone power, which then becomes 1 redstone power. That becomes no redstone power. Now, these redstone powers turn these torches on and off by use of the repeater. So if that one there had enough items to come through, making this 42 or 46 in total, this one will get powered, powering this block, which powers these repeaters, which turns off these torches. Now, these redstone torches are currently on, which means anything that goes in there won't go through because they're blocked by the redstone torch. When one more item comes through, these will get powered, turn off the torch, let the item through, then it will turn back on. Clever. I'll leave a link in the description below. Check out Impulse's video. It's old, but it works. Now, the extra items that this mob farm produces is redstone, glowstone, dust, spider eyes, feathers, sticks, glass bottle, sugar, and I've left this one as an overflow just in case things come through and don't get picked up properly, which should never be the case. And anything that's accidentally thrown in, like the occasional pickaxe, will all end up in this one, including raw chicken. So as you can tell, this thing's going to produce a lot of stuff. But this is what we really want, because with string and bamboo, we can make scaffolding. Oh yeah. Easy way to get up and down. This is definitely going to come in handy. And now with that done, let's get on with some digging. Well, I hope you enjoyed that time lapse, some of which was filmed in a stream. We've near enough reached deep slate with the hole, so we're getting closer. I am thinking that these clay blobs are getting a bit too much, so I might take some of them out, because from up here, it's kind of becoming, oops, kind of getting in the way of the view. I kind of like this, then I think that's just too much there. So I may have to do something about that. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. As I mentioned, I did do some in a stream. I'll put a link up at the top there. So if you're interested in chilled streams and rewatching them, you can. Time lapse is getting a bit difficult with it being so tight and low down. So I may just stream them, then do a quick update. Or would you prefer the time lapses? Let me know in the comments below. But one thing that the stream did point out to me is now it's getting a bit dark down there. I will hit them. There we go. At last. Thank goodness for infinity arrows. Who needs mending? Yeah, the mobs are getting a bit hazardous. I've gone from 7 deaths to 22. It's just that small dig. So I may have to start lighting things up with some lichen, because the amount of drop creepers that killed me is untrue. And I'm going to have to do something about this huge mess of chests here. It's not so much chest monster. I mean, I think they're all nicely laid out, but I've definitely got to do something with them. Okay, gift from Marks. Interesting. Oh yes. Thank you, Marks. I need those. And I need the shulker. Oh, and some shulker shells. And a spare elytra. Dude, you're spoiling me. Oh, thank you so much. I so need those. Well, I think that's a good place to end this episode. Thank you everyone for watching. Keep a lookout for more streams. And if you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, consider becoming part of the Flazzerty team and hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so as you know when I'm streaming. Bye for now. Bye.